So let's talk about this Heat versus Knicks game. I'm sorry, by the way, I will say it. I am gonna have to post a few videos today just because I haven't been active during the past few days. So I'm gonna be talking about, in my opinion, the most interesting games from the last few days, right? We have this Heat versus Knicks game, which was an overall battle between these two teams. You know, two teams which are good this season. They've been great at really asserting themselves so far. They both have 6 losses, and they've made themselves good. As you guys know, I'm a Heat fan, so I obviously have some bias with my team. But they played a great game. You know, in terms of their starters were effective. They played well. They really got it done. And the problem really with the Heat, where they suffered the most, was off the bench. Jaime Jaquez Jr., in my opinion, this game got too many shots. He had 17 shots and 6 3-pointers. Now, if he would have made a lot of them, then that would have been good. But he didn't. And overall, he hurt the team in a horrible way this game. As even though Jaime Jaquez has been amazing for us, he did have a negative 18 plus minus, which just shows that when he was on the court, we were losing this game. And in the end, the Heat did end up losing this game. And I think that a lot of that can be placed on the rookie. You know, he's getting 35 minutes a game, playing like a starter, you know, even though he's coming off the bench. And I think that that's honestly a big sign for him as a player. You know, a kid who just came into the NBA, who has been in the NBA for less than a full season, who's getting all these minutes and is getting trusted with that many shots, should let him know, like, yo, you have something special, right? Because there's guys on this bench in your position who have been here longer than you have been, before you have been, and who are more trusted than you have. So he better get to work and fix his percentages, because even though he is playing well this year, and he has been very effective, especially when he's good, you know, in my opinion, for the season, you know, even though he's had amazing success, there is something to be said about this kid and his consistency from game to game. But I won't slack on him too much. He's a rookie, and he wasn't even supposed to be getting this many minutes because he was undrafted, if I'm not mistaken, or he was a late round pick. Then other guys who played pretty badly for, you know, the Heat: Kevin Love, inefficient, and Caleb Martin, also inefficient. As I said, the starting guys played well except Hayward Highsmith, even though he had the best plus minus while he was on the floor. Jimmy Butler played great, as he has been this entire season. Bam did Bam things, got a double-double, extremely effective. And in my opinion, the problem with the Heat, it was mostly in their late games, you know, plays. They let New York score like 2 straight buckets against them, which was very bad, you know, from R.J. Barrett, then Jalen Brunson, which put them up. And then when they came back on the other end with 20 seconds to go, even though Bam did make a good play, right, where he got sent to the line and everything, if you would have not allowed the Knicks to get a 13-2 run at the end of the game the way that they did, then we would have won the game, right? But for the Knicks, they played amazingly. You know, everything the Heat didn't do, the Knicks did. The Heat were extremely ineffective, shooting 39% from the field and 27% from 3. The only place where they were good was from the free throw line, where they shot 95%. Right? They had a bunch of turnovers. Well, not a bunch. They had turnovers, and they had a good amount of fouls. With the Knicks, it was the opposite, you know. The Knicks shot 48% from the field, 35% from 3. Their starters were amazing in terms of just that the whole team played efficiently. Emmanuel Quickly was doing his thing. And honestly, New York, this was a big win for them. I think it was their first in-home game of the in-season tournament. And as we know, before this, the Heat had been undefeated in the tournament, you know, up to this point. That's a very big thing, because obviously the tournament matters, and it also counts as regular season wins. So from this game, you could see a clear trend for the Heat that they were obviously fighting for their position. The biggest thing, in my opinion, in this game was Jalen Brunson and him shooting 10 of 16 from the field. He was extremely efficient, and most of his inefficiencies came from three. I also believe that RJ in the clutch was making great decisions. And a sneaky person who really put this team on the map this game was Josh Hart. Even though from three he wasn't that efficient, from the field he was, and he had 8 rebounds this game, 4 assists, and 10 points on only 26 minutes of playtime. When a guy, like Isaiah Hartenstein, who got more minutes than him off the bench, only got 2 points and 5 rebounds. I do believe that this team played cohesively this game, and I want to say that even though Mitchell Robinson should have gotten more minutes, I do believe that he is getting disrespected with the amount of minutes. They put him in the starting lineup. It's obvious that he's amazing, and his deficiencies with speed and everything does not have to do with offense obviously show, but also you have to give him the respect that he is a starter and he should be getting more minutes. I do believe that the closing out of this game was rough for the Heat. Jimmy did get the shot up, but it was a really bad shot. The fact that he almost made it was impressive, and I don't believe that it should have been a 3. I do believe that they should have probably wanted to send it to overtime in this type of situation. If you guys don't know, it was a 2-point game because the Knicks missed a free throw. And then they gave the ball to Jimmy in the last possessions the way that they should have. And then they forced him basically to take a contested sidestep 3 from the right wing, which in my opinion was a terrible play to run for the Heat. Now, with all that being said, they did come close. And you probably, as the Heat, do feel good, with how you sit right now in terms of your record or after this game, almost having beat them. But the Knicks are one of the tougher teams that you've beat with your record, as you have beat up on some pretty bad teams this season, And with that being said, when we see you versus teams like the Grizzlies and the Hawks and the Spurs, which all have been pretty bad, you win. But when we saw you against teams, like the Nets or the Bucks or the Timberwolves or the Celtics, you've lost. So, in my opinion, with the Heat, it's either you do something right now or this type of phenomenon is not going to change. I do want to say shout out to the Heat, shout out to Kyle Lowry, because I was missing a game from him. He's been looking obviously older this season, and he has really settled into his role as a floor general. I do believe that he has had a pretty good season, especially from 3-point range. And honestly, his defense can obviously not go unnoticed. For the Knicks, put quickly in the starting lineup. I think it's his time. I think Quentin Grimes is amazing for defense, but I do believe that Emmanuel Quickley already deserves it. And if we're being honest with the Knicks, they have to make this adjustment. They have to put Quickley in the starting lineup and let him run next to Brunson. I don't know what that's going to do for their size, and it's obvious that Tom Thibodeau wants Quickley to play as much as possible, alternating with Brunson, because he gives Quickley more minutes than he does Quentin Grimes normally. But I do believe that putting Quickley and Brunson in the starting lineup would be an interesting pair. I believe that it should be done just off the fact that they're both amazing and that Quickley is a tough defender. But I understand where they're coming from with the way that they play him. I just think that honestly, what Quickley has done for the team and what he does when he's out there, unless it would hurt the team for him to start, I do believe that they should give him at least a week where they try him out in the starting lineup and give him his justice of his 30 minutes per game, as he should get routinely. They do this, see how it works out, and if it doesn't, then you go back to having him off the bench. But I do really like Quickley, and I think that he should be utilized more in their system and the way that they play. That's been it. This game was very interesting in the way that these two teams battled off. I do believe that this will probably be a playoff series this year. If not, then it will be an interesting one because they will be close in record for most of the year, I imagine. But yeah, that's been it, and I hope you have a good one. Peace.